Ottawa, capital city of Canada and home to thousands who have migrated from the OECS islands. An OECS Secretariat team led by Director General Dr. Len Ishmael made a stopover in Ottawa early June during a three-city OECS business promotion tour of Canada. And the OECS nationals took the opportunity to get answers to issues about OECS integration and the proposed OECS Economic Union in particular during a panel discussion organized by the OECS High Commission in Ottawa. Dr. Ishmael is joined on the panel by Economic Affairs Director at the Secretariat, Mr. Randy Cato. The discussion was chaired by OECS High Commissioner, Mr. Brendan Brown. Here are some highlights.
I thought we'd at least hear a bit about what is being proposed. So I'm wondering if maybe in a couple of seconds, if you can, my interest in more legislative competence out there, the Secretary, if you can just give us a brief sort of overview of what that would look like, or what powers you see being transferred to.
Okay, I'll be very quick on that. Okay. What is being proposed here is that the governments, that each country will agree that there will be 5 areas in which the central organization will have the competence to legislate for everybody, so that the decisions taken at that central level and turned into legislative instruments will immediately become binding on all of the member states. And those 5 areas, as you see that it speaks to the common market and customs union, monetary policy, which already is being handled by the central bank, so already that is in place. Trade policy, maritime jurisdiction and maritime boundaries to manage the sea space, and civil aviation to manage the airspace. So this will be done collectively under the central body, and that central body will be able to legislate on behalf of all members.
At the current time, decisions are taken by consensus. One of the weakest links in the current decision-making apparatus right now, mechanisms right now, exists at the local level. So that the authority will come together, they will take decisions to do certain things. Months go by and nothing has moved at the local level. The fact of the matter is, the fact that decisions are taken at the level of the authority when they come together, the Secretariat can't implement those things because we're not a state, right? So that these things have to be implemented at the level of member states, and that's where the weakness is. So now the authority will have the ability to make decisions that are binding because they will be law. And they will be law, and they will be implemented at the level of the member states.
So in effect, what you're saying, at the end of the day, you will have, really you're not saying that, but you'll have a political union of some sort.
No, I would not, I have to be very careful where I go with that. I'm not saying that at all.
We need to have the opportunity to move from the instrumental, so to speak, to the intrinsic, if you will. So I think that the framework within which we conduct the discussion is critical, and I don't think that we have achieved it here. I think that the discussion should allow, or the framework should allow for broader participation and more involved participation, and I don't see it here.
But what would you suggest? I mean, let's speak very much in constructive engagement, so that we want your ideas.
Yes, true. What I think should happen is that you should have to engage the diaspora. What I think should happen is to have a framework within which, even when you are not here, that the discussion can continue. So I would like to look at the treaty, and the treaty be discussed here, and that we can look at the treaty and formulate certain opinion about the treaty and make our contribution and send it in a collective way.
So my question is this. What role are we going to play besides talk? And the other one is, what are the opportunities for us?
Let me rephrase it. How can we invest in the OECS?
So, I just wanted to go back a little bit to the diaspora and how we can help. And you're asking about how we can help and contribute, and vice versa. the countries, many of the countries that have been more successful recently have called back and relied on the diaspora to help them. China, India, you name it, especially in the technology area in which I am familiar. I say that the OECS has to be proactive and use the model that is being used in St. Kitts, as you mentioned, and actively interact and interconnect to the diaspora. If you think about it, I'll just give you one simple. I'm from Dominica. We have more people out of Dominica in the diaspora than Dominica itself. And I think that may be applicable to many of them. And people with different skill sets, that could be beneficial. You said you had trouble with the depth of negotiation. Maybe some people in the diaspora can help, and can help, if they can't help themselves, they can help facilitate.
So I want to say the diaspora is a very, very, very valuable components and assets. And governments out there are keenly aware of the value of this diaspora. Big countries use the diasporas aggressively, even though they are already big and rich. I'm trying to understand why the OECS has not understood the value of a diaspora and has not come here with all kinds of, how you call it? To motivate and stimulate the diaspora into something.
I would like to suggest, because of the power, because of volume, and the economic clout that it carries, with the billions of dollars at the use of the diaspora, I would like to see a formal relationship somehow between our governments, CARICOM, the OECS, what do we want to call it, to forge a relationship, to get some of that investment, because there's a wide amount of talent, of financial capital that can be harnessed in a variety of ways that would complement the many millions that we get to build bridges that go nowhere.
Have to know what the treaty says, because there is the crux of the matter. So if we have a discussion, the High Commission can organize a discussion on the treaty, and they can set up a legal expert, and we can organize an appropriate forum, just like this, and the treaty can be discussed among yourselves, and the recommendations and suggestions can be taken on board and sent back to headquarters, so that will be meaningful involvement.
Can the various organizations that are here, based on the information, because you're right, all that we can do now is give you information. Based on the information that we have given you, based on the directions that we have suggested, can the organizations here, right, find some way where they can now begin to grab the ball, set up those framework that we were talking about, and engage with the High Commission?
I think you have to determine your role in all of this. This is not a role that we can ascribe to you. I think that there are different modalities. One, I would encourage you to get a copy of the treaty. The treaty is available online. Download it and study it. I think, two, it is very important for you, if you have any questions, any points of clarification, any areas in which you think the treaty does not do particular justice to certain areas, to get in touch with our High Commission, to send something in written form that could be sent to our Economic Union unit so that we can take it to the